So, hi, my name's Kingma, and I'm part of the director board at UK PropTech Association. I work for PropTech One, and we are a VC that invests into mostly early stage startups, so mostly around the Series A and seed stage in Europe that innovate and impact the built environment. Today, I'm joined by Christian, and so thank you very much for coming here today. Why don't you like to introduce yourself?
Lovely. Thanks, Kingma. Appreciate the opportunity. My name's Christian Scandurra. I'm the head of sales for Movinghub in the UK. My background is real estate sales, going back a long way. I sold real estate in England, Spain, Australia. Then I moved into a head of sales role for the leading CRM system in Australia for a number of years, which was then acquired by the PropTech Group and in turn by MRI recently. It's been in the news, I think we're all aware of. I moved back to the UK in 2014 and they kept me on and we launched the product over here. So I launched Rent Find Inspector, which is one of their products to the UK market, grew it to over 300 offices in a couple of years. And then I scaled the business to a good sized team and we launched the Aussie CRM system to the UK and grew that substantially. I fancied a new challenge and moved on in January last year. Started with Movinghub, and my job here is to grow the brand and the business in the UK. And so far, so good.
Great, thank you. So, the first question is, moving homes can be a tedious and stressful process. So how does Moving Hub tackle this?
Yeah, well, that's exactly the words I would say, tedious and stressful. What is it they say? It's the second most stressful thing someone can go through. So, most of our client base are real estate agents, and they're dealing with their customers who can be tenants, purchasers moving into homes, and there's a lot going on. So, where Moving Hub comes into it is we will organise the different services for them. When you think about how many things need organising, broadband, TV packages, how do we get to the property with our stuff, removal list, home and contents insurance, we must make sure that's organized. I mean, that's just scratching the surface. And then, when we call a broadband company, if I'm a tenant, let's say, I'm not going to call one, I'm going to call perhaps three. BT, just to use examples, BT, Sky, Virgin, I'm on hold, I eventually get through. I mean, it's a mammoth job. And in this world now, we're more and more busy, aren't we? People just haven't got the time. So that's where we step into it. The real estate agent, lettings manager will refer that customer through to us, and we can talk about how that happens maybe later on, but typically either through the use of their CRM, no touch, or a very quick web form that they would fill in. And then we take over after that, and we'll contact the customer under their agent's brand, which again is something we'll touch on later, I'm sure. And they'll have a dedicated account manager from our end, someone we call a movologist, trademark. That person will help them with the move, and they won't be passed around the office. So we'll call them under the office's brand. We'll help them with all those services, but if they can't talk now, we'll diarise them for a time when they can, and that same person will call them back, and it really eliminates all that stress for that person moving. It's all organised in a 20-minute call. So that's huge, and so they'll definitely save time, these end users, the tenants, purchasers, but they'll probably save money as well, because we've got some really good deals which we've negotiated with these big providers, which are better typically than them going to the default tariff. So it's win-win, and of course this is all under the agent's brand, so they get the credit for it.
And what's the process been like to introduce Moving Hub to estate agents and other property companies? Have
Yeah,
you experienced any challenges?
Well, yeah, sorry to jump in there. It's been very different for me because my background has been CRM sales. So I'm sure you guys know that CRM sales is a long haul. It's not people don't go, I like that, I'll sign up. It's a real consultative approach. It can take a year, 2 years. It's a massive decision for an office for someone to go on board with a CRM because everything revolves around it. It's usually a big financial outlay. Whereas with this, from selling that and now selling this, I go to an office and the amount of times I hear the words no brainer. Because for an agent, there's no cost. Quite the opposite, it will generate a revenue stream for them, which in these tough times which we're going through now is most welcome. And there's no lock-in contract, and it helps their customers. So once I get to that point where I'm doing a demonstration, the conversion rate is extremely high because people look at it and go, well, this just makes sense. Why wouldn't I? So the challenge, of course, with any prop tech, as we all know, is getting past the gatekeeper when you're talking to an office. So, when I started in January, I've got my contact list. So that was easy because I knew these people. Hey, it's Christian from where I used to work, and I'd get to talk to them, whatever. But obviously, you've only got a finite contact list. Over time, you've been through all those, and then it's cold leads that you're having to call, and it's that problem of getting past that first person. So, over the last few months, we're looking at we're now planning out more exhibitions, conferences. I think is a really good way to get to the decision makers. But also I've been focusing on CRM. So we do integrate with a number of CRMs, and the more that we can talk to those CRMs, have them on board as an affiliate, and them introduce us to their customer base, the real estate agents, who then have minimal effort to refer to us because it's done automatically through their CRM. Win-win. So a big focus of mine in the last few months has been talking with these CRMs and striking up a deal. So a relationship. So yeah, the challenges have been getting to the decision maker, as we all have the same challenge, but we're finding a way around that. And like I said, once we get to that decision maker, it's they look at it and say, well, why wouldn't you?
Thank you. How does Movinghub's business model benefit the companies adopting a solution?
Yeah, I'd say one of the probably the main thing, and I touched on it earlier on, is that it's what we call white labeled. So for people watching who maybe don't know what that is, it means that we're not doing it under the Movinghub brand. We're doing it under whatever brand the office in question wants, and 99% of the time that's their own brand. So if you're called John Smith Real Estate and you're referring someone through to us, we call ourselves John Smith Concierge. So whether the tenant goes on a digital journey through our dashboard and self-serves, it's all John Smith Concierge. Or if somebody from our end, the movologist, calls them, hi, it's Vicky from John Smith Concierge, we're credible by association. So that's really good because it helps us sort of talk to them easier. It helps us initiate that conversation. But also from the agent's perspective, we're doing it under their brand. So it's another arm of their business, which is servicing their customers and helping them with this stressful move, but at minimal effort, at no effort, because we're doing all the work. So people who are using Movinghub really well at the moment are actually mentioning these services at the valuation stage. Stock is pretty thin on the ground for most people at the moment. So when people are doing a valuation, they'll say, hey, list with John Smith Real Estate, because not only will we get you the best price, we'll do this fancy marketing, we'll do this, that, but we also have our own concierge department, which is free, no obligation, but it'll save you a ton of time and probably save you money. So, that's a real win-win. So, there are other aspects of the business model that suit offices. Obviously, it's completely free. It generates revenue, which, like I said before, is really great. But I think the white label component is one of the most powerful ones for an office.
Thanks, Christian. And finally, looking ahead, what does the future look like for the industry, and how does Movinghub fit into this digital-first world?
Yeah, so if by the industry, if we talk, I mean, maybe I'll talk about prop tech industry, but also property, real estate industry as well, because there's two components there, I guess. But with the prop tech industry, we're trying to become more and more digital. I mean, we are by and large. I mean, when somebody is referred through to us, they immediately get a white labeled email, and they can request a call, or we'll call them anyway, or they can transact digitally, like I touched on with the last question. So we're really trying to change people's behavior and understanding, educate them, the end user, so that they'll self-serve. They're confident to go through this digital journey, which is people again are time poor, rather than us have to call them. So we're really trying to focus on our digital offering and put more resources in there. There's a home portal we're developing where they can transact at any time, and we can an agent can put other resources in. So we really are focusing on things being fully digital, as opposed at the moment, although the initial part of the journey is digital, typically we're mostly calling them under the label brand, which is fine because you build a rapport and you help people. But it's we're trying to change people's behaviors and educate them moving forward. In the real estate industry, I think it's the use of good prop tech is where that needs to evolve and is evolving. I mean, there's a ton of prop tech out there now compared to when I first started. There's some really good stuff, and there's some stuff that really doesn't really solve a problem. It's just there for the sake of it. So I think identifying the good prop tech and integration. If you can get them all plugging into one another, and we've got an open API, so we're all for integration. I think it's the key for this working really well. A good stack of prop tech that all plugs in together is the way that I think offices should go.
Fantastic. Thank you so much today for your time and insights, Christian.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for the invite.